Hi, everyone, and welcome to Foreign Currencies with Scott. So today is Wednesday, August 27. It's the middle of the week, and we're going to do a catch up from what has happened so far this week. So if you're new to the channel, we're in the midst of a $1,000 challenge. We're trying to grow our money by 50% in 1 year by trading foreign currencies, specifically the British pound and the US dollar. So you'll note that we had an unusual title to our video today. It's that we called an audible, and as a result, we won. Now, what's an audible? So football fans will be familiar with this. We've set a play, we know exactly what we're going to do, each player has their role, and then the huddle breaks and they go line up. And now the quarterback is yelling out different numbers. What is he doing? Well, he's calling an audible. What that means is that the play that everyone thought they were going to do, they're no longer going to do that play. He's telling them, now that I've seen everything out here and I see the defenders and I see that guy over in the corner, we're going to do something completely different, and I'm going to give you the numbers to tell you which play we're actually going to play. Well, we did that with the foreign currency markets just today. And in the companion to this video, the scene that shows you all the graphics, I'm going to explain exactly what we did. But effectively, we've talked about this method that we have. And on a recent video, we talked about the fact that the method has not enabled us to make any trades during the month of August. Pretty much the entire month, we have not seen any potential trade days. So that was true again today, but we called an audible in the sense that we saw a secondary option available today and we took it and we ended up making money from it. So we're going to have a closer look at that in detail in the rest of this video. But now we're up a little bit more in our fund, and so that's a very good thing. We'll see how the next 2 days on the market goes, and we'll check in with you again on Sunday evening. Until then, if you have comments, questions, please let me know in the comments below. And good trading. We'll talk to you again on Sunday evening. Bye, everyone. All right, so Wednesday, August 27th, which is today, let's take a look at what happened. So before we get into the details here, we'll just say, suffice it to say that, again, on Monday and Tuesday, we had no trades available. The 30 pip upper line and lower line were not breached, at least not in a timely manner. And so we did not have any trades available those 2 days. Now, strictly speaking, today was no different than that. If I zoom in here, so you will see, first of all, on the left-hand side, the vertical bar that represents the New York close from last night. The horizontal bar in the middle represents the price at the time of that close. And then the upper line is 30 pips above that, and the lower line is 30 pips below that. Now, if we close in on 3 a.m., we will see that from the left-hand side of the screen until 3 a.m., we did go down from the middle of the middle line, and we did breach the lower 30 pip line. But then we came back up, and at 3 a.m., you can see, I'm just zooming in here so we'll get all the times. There we go. 3 a.m., you can see that we had this red candle in the middle now, and we were inside the 30 pip limit. So effectively, we had no trade. Now, the method that we use is tried and true. Tens of thousands of samples have been used, and this has been proven as a very good method. The New York close followed by the London opening, looking for a move above or below, and then coming back to the New York close. So that method is tried and true. That is our primary method, but there are other methods, obviously. And one of them is the it's not really the opposite, but it's the New York Open. And can, after the New York Open, can we revisit the London Open? So now our normal method is New York close, London open. So you might think, okay, New York open, London close. But the tricky part there is that when New York opens, London is still open. They do overlap for a few hours each day. So this alternate method is the New York Open revisiting the London Open. So if we take a look at the chart, we'll see at 3 a.m., which is now in the center, that 3 a.m. time is the London Open. And we can see that if we try to highlight 2:55 a.m., we'll see that the close there from the little pop-up is $1.34 and 63.6 pips. So 63 pips. So that's at 3 a.m. when London opens. Now, in our primary method, we had no trade. So now we look to the alternate method. So what is the alternate method? So that's the London Open. Now, when New York opens, will it be more than 30 pips away? And then is it heading back in the direction of where London opened? And so if we take a look, we'll see, and I promptly forgot that number. Okay, chart just got bigger on us. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, the close was $1.34 and 63.6 pips, so 63 pips. So at 8 a.m., which is Eastern time when New York opens, the value was right here and it opened at 30 pips. You can see there $1.34 and 30.9 pips. So we said we were at 63 when London opened. So that's a difference of 33 pips. Now, in addition to that, you can see from the candle to the right of the 8 a.m. open, we are going up. So we are headed back to that London open price. Now, we have something else that we can look at, which is if we back off a little bit, we can see that through the night, the pair from the New York close, and let's just go back so we can take a broader look at it. So started at the New York close, then went down 30 pips, then came back up a little bit, never got back to the New York close. So that's important. Never got back to that close, but headed back down again. So now it's headed back down. But you can see that around 7 a.m., we did kind of reach a low there. And that's that candle, the red candle with a small body but a long wick below. That's an indicator that we've reached something of a low. And you'll see that that's the lowest point that it had been all day. And if you go to the right, it doesn't get any lower than that moving forward. So by 8 a.m., we had a good feeling that we'd set a low for the day and we were going to head back up. And then in addition to that, we met the criteria for this alternate method, which is we were more than 30 pips away and we were going back in the direction we needed to go to return to the London Open. So we were able to stay in this position. Uh, so we opened right here, just right after 8 a.m. And you can see first it breached the line that was 30 pips away from the New York close, but at that point, that's meaningless to us. We're looking for 63, which was the London Open. But then you can see later in the morning, we did get above 60, and eventually we did meet our criteria, our target of 30 pips. So again, we weren't going for the specific lines there, but we were going for a 20 pip loss. So we would have had to go below the low that had been set for the day. The 20 pips of our entry price below was below that low of the day, which is a good thing because it makes it a harder target to reach. And our 30 pips was just 30 pips higher than where we entered. And so it was somewhere even still below the New York closing price. We didn't even have to make it back to that. Now, if we back off, you can see what happened to the pair, which is it did eventually not only give us our take profit, but it did also cross the New York close and stayed up. Now, the market is still open. Obviously, it's Monday through Friday. The market is still moving forward. But we did use an alternate method today and we were successful. So we'll be talking more about this alternate method in videos to come that we can look for and what the criteria are for it. But meanwhile, we've finally made a successful trade after having a rather frustrating August of really no entry points even to consider making. So we found one today with an alternate method and came back with a take profit win. So we're looking forward to 2 more days of trading this week. We still want to go back to our primary method and look for something to return to the New York, excuse me, yes, no, that's right, the New York close. Um, but then we'll also keep in mind that we do have alternate methods we can explore from time to time. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this little alternate method that helped make our fund some money today. And we will see what the next 2 days have to bring, and then we'll review that on Sunday evening.